In this video, we're looking at the Goplus 600-pound capacity hitch-mounted motorcycle carrier. In my experience, these things are a pretty even blend of brilliant and terrifying. Much less overhead than owning a trailer, but having the bike hanging on the truck by a single point of contact is more than a little unsettling. My TLR weighs a little over 500 pounds wet, and the carrier comes in around 90, so I'm maxing out my truck's 600-pound recommended tongue weight before we even consider the weird torques this thing puts on a hitch receiver that an actual trailer never would. To counter a bit of that weight levered way out from the receiver, I run a couple straps up from the outside rings to the roof rack and snug them up enough to take out about an inch of flex. I don't want the full weight of the bike ripping my roof rack off, but a little bit of stabilization goes a long way. Having read over the reviews, I was expecting the carrier to show up in two separate boxes, perhaps on two different days. However, mine showed up in one large box. The box is about 7 feet long, foot wide, 6 inches deep, and weighs 90 pounds. Most folks probably want to use a hand cart or find a friend to help get it to your build area. Some reviews mentioned parts rolling around loose in the box, but mine was packed well with foam and bubble wrap securing all the bits, both large and small. Other reviews mentioned needing to buy a hitch stabilizer separately. This looks like another area the manufacturer has improved, as my box included a stabilizer right on top. The included tie-downs are 1-inch continuous loop style cam buckles. They do alright, but personally I wouldn't use them for anything critical. Unpacking the major pieces, we have the main rail, a ramp, 2 tie-down bars, a solid wheel chock, a pivoting wheel catch, and the central support tube that connects to your hitch receiver. That pack in the middle is of course your nuts and bolts as well as your hitch pin. You should have 4 long bolts which fix the tie-down bars to the main rail, and a dozen short bolts that secure everything else. You'll need a 17mm wrench or socket for the nuts and a 16mm for the bolts. I don't really recommend using deep sockets for this as they were a bit of a pain, but that's what I had close at hand. You'll start assembly by attaching the main support tube to the bottom of the main rail. Make sure the tongue is on the side of the rail that does not have the reflector tape. Secure the connection using 6 of your short bolts. 2 of the bolts are under the support tube, so they're a bit awkward to tighten down, but you can get a wrench in there. Next, use 4 more short bolts to secure the wheel chock to the end of the main rail. After that, loosely install the wheel catch. You may need to move it to a different position once you see how your bike fits the assembly, so I left mine finger tight at this point. To install the tie-down bars, you'll keep your 17mm for the nuts and switch to a 6mm Allen key for the bolts. Feed the bolts from the top through the main rail and the tie-down arm and secure with a nut below the arm. Make sure you orient the bars with both wing nut assemblies on the tongue side so the ramp doesn't obscure the reflectors or any additional lighting you may want to install later. Remove the wing nuts and stow the ramp. I get what they're going for with the plastic washers here, but I don't feel like it was executed all that well. I'll likely wind up printing up some larger washers that do a better job. Now you can finally pick up the whole assembly and mount it to your receiver. This is another time you may want to recruit a friend to assist. Install the hitch pin and secure it with the included R-clip. Install the hitch stabilizer and tighten it down with an 18mm socket. We're finally almost ready to load up. The ramp has 2 pins on the bottom to keep it secure. You just drop them in the holes on the end of the main rail and you shouldn't have to worry about it going anywhere. If you like living dangerously, it's technically possible to load a bike by yourself, but I definitely recommend leaning on that friend one last time. To wrap things up, I want to share some things I've learned and improved since taking this picture. First, I'm now using a purpose-built rear tire tie-down webbing to secure the rear wheel itself instead of compressing the rear suspension. Second, I was really hoping to somehow secure the front wheel instead of compressing the front suspension, but with all the plastics I couldn't come up with anything I was happy with. I tried canyon carvers, but they didn't really fit right either, so I wound up settling on soft wraps where the clip-ons meet the tree. Third, I've moved from ratchet straps to cam buckles on all 4 corners. They have the same webbing and overall strength as the ratchets that I was using, but they're less bulky and make shorter distance connections easier. Fourth, the whole rig is really bouncy if you don't have the extra straps going to the roof. On a pickup, I'd probably run a set of straps up into the bed. Fifth, the rig rocks a little bit, even with the roof straps and the hitch stabilizer tightened down. Nothing seems to be the worse for wear, but I'd be much happier if it were solid. Please leave a comment if you've figured out a good way to really lock one of these things down. Sixth and last, I got myself some trailer lights since the bike covers up the rear lights on the truck. I'm using wireless magnetic stick-ons and they work great. That's it for today. I'm overall happy with the carrier. It gets the bike from point A to point B. Would I buy it again? Yeah, I would. But am I really happy with it as a final solution? No, not really. I'm still trying to come up with something better. And if anybody knows anything better, again, please shoot a comment. So yeah, that'll do for now, and we'll see you in the next one.